Rabbi Josh, one of my
Howdy.
favorite rabbis in the whole universe. It's lovely to learn with you. We're doing a little bit of learning around Pesach. We were going to talk just for a few minutes about chametz and yeah, seriously, why it's bad coming up next week and what the solution to your chametz problem might be. Lovely to learn with you, Josh.
Thank you. I'm not sure chametz is bad for 51 weeks of the year. Just specifically on Pesach, we don't want it for some reason. But it is good to keep that in mind, right? Like this dichotomy we have of matzah and chametz, and we like project all the good things onto the matzah, right? Matzah is simplicity, matzah is good, matzah is great, and chametz is pride and it's laziness and it's all these sins and it's ego and everything. It's like inflated, rising ego. It doesn't make sense to me to do that kind of symbolism when just after Pesach you go back to eating bread and it's a good thing, and we have bread on Shabbat and Shavuot is like this.
And given that they're made out of exactly the same things.
And yeah, exactly, it's the same ingredients, right? Like if it's baked for 18 minutes and 1 second, it's chametz, and it's 18 minutes minus 1 second, it's matzah.
Right.
Right. So that's kind of what I've been playing with recently is like this obviousness of a big contrast between matzah and chametz, especially now as we're cleaning our houses and I'm getting freaked out by maybe there's a crumb here and there. We have to polish the candlesticks for some reason. And then just thinking like the deeper you go into it, the more complex it is, and it's not such a easy story as the one we tell kids in Cheder. Also thinking about it, just because I'm getting at the moment lots of questions around, is this kosher and is that kosher, and how do I sell chametz and all this stuff? And I'm thinking like, no one else has a festival so complicated, right?
Right.
No one asks, how do I do Christmas this year?
Right.
Or this is like a really complicated bank holiday. What's the laws of the bank holiday? Like no one does that.
Right.
But Pesach is, there's so many frameworks that we have to work within in order to celebrate this freedom. Right. It's like openness, Pesach, right? It's like the skipping over. It should be this light festival, right. And we have these boundaries of matzah chametz.
Tell us the basic injunctions of not eating and not owning, and how do we get into them and how do we get around them?
Right. So there's a few laws of Pesach, a few mitzvot, commandments that we have to keep on Pesach, and one of them is to tell the story, and one of them is to eat matzah, right? Those are the famous ones. And there's 6 others which have to do with destroying chametz. All the different details of destroying chametz, and that includes not owning chametz and not seeing any chametz that you own, right? So there's, it's quite restricted in that way. And that prohibition of not owning chametz basically means that you should be eating down before Pesach, right? Like anything you have, just get rid of it slowly by eating. And another good thing to do is to give away or to donate the chametz, right? There's like enough hungry people always, especially this year. So I'm giving away like all these closed boxes and encouraging others to do it too. And then we have this rabbinic fiction that I'm delving into also about selling the chametz. And again, like I have this love-hate relationship with selling chametz because it's like if you describe it to someone, it sounds stupid, but it's also a very nice kind of stupid. It's a very like Jewish thing of creating this big problem and then finding this wonderful solution for the problem that you created. So I'm selling chametz for myself and for other people, if I have any left over. And I've also been encouraging people to sell their own chametz. Like I don't like so much this idea of outsourcing it or making it impersonal, just signing a form online. And there's actually something maybe valuable about going to a non-Jewish friend or neighbor and explaining what's going on, right? And it's a way of noticing the festival of Pesach, right? In another way, noticing the presence absence of chametz in our life, and noticing these boundaries of Jewish, not Jewish, which we pretend are big, but also like with this selling of chametz, you have to step over those boundaries and you have to ask for help from your non-Jewish friend. You have to have a non-Jewish friend to be able to do this Jewish ritual.
Yeah.
Where they're excluded in a way, but they have to help.
Right.
And yeah, so I've put together this guides for selling your own chametz, to bring down the rabbinic monopoly and maybe demystify the whole thing a little bit, as well as just showing also the weirdness of it.
Right. No, and I think somewhere in we'll put the link in the chat for your guide. I think somewhere in there, by breaking down and demystifying some of the aspects of Passover, we also get into a greater relationship with the traditions that we can both love and hate, but know them better and know them more deeply, ask better and deeper questions about some of the aspects of Passover. It's a festival of renewal and of growth, and also I think of potentiality. And perhaps by really getting inside the tradition as you're describing, we get to know more about that journey out of Egypt in some guise or another. Josh, I'll give you the last word, but I wish you and your family a Hag Sameach, a happy, good, sweet and kosher Passover. It's lovely to learn with you. You have the last word.
Just every Pesach is meant to be new and different and personal. And like this world is a bit shaken this year, but it's another opportunity to find the newness of it. And yeah, I wish you and everyone that to realize that opportunity and make the most of this crazy festival that makes us us. Chag Sameach.